Hi, I'm Benoit Vatere, Chief Media Officer at Liquid Death, and you are listening to the CPG Guys podcast.
Hello and welcome to the CPG Guys podcast, set at the intersection of commerce and tech. Your hosts, Sri Rajagopalan and Peter V.S. Bond, explore how brands and retailers engage consumers in a digitally driven world. And now, here are the CPG Guys.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this episode of the CPG Guys. We're, of course, live at Shoptalk in Las Vegas. Of course, Peter, we're actually in our usual suite. We've had this suite for how many years now?
Let me just tell you that...
Is there a residency, Peter?
I think we do, based on like Miss Celine deal.
And we're doing our usual favorite stuff between meetings, planning for Cannes, which is a big activation for us this year.
Cannes is going to be huge this year.
CPG Guys actually have their own residence in Cannes right opposite the Palais this year. And of course, we're making podcasts. And that's what we're about to do now with industry's key leaders. I'm Sri, co-host, CRO, and co-founder of Think Blue Consulting, your trusted partner in your omni-channel development journey. Get in touch with me at Sri at thinkblueconsulting.co. Listen to my older daughter's music at www.riaraj.com. We're about to go to India for NBA and Budweiser. Follow Laura Raj. My younger daughter is a member of the world's fastest growing global girls group, Cat's Eye. Just came back from Lollapalooza, South America. We're headed to Coachella. I'm joined today by my best friend, co-host, Mr. PVSB, who also moonlights as head of industry and client engagement at Flywheel, the commerce acceleration division of Omnicom. How you doing, man? I know this is a sad moment because this is our last recording of the whole
It is, but
week, and then you're headed back tonight.
Well, I've got a couple of tasks before I head back. Obviously, the last thing I have to do is dinner with the women in commerce media. That's a big event for us. We're going to see our friend. It'll be great. Great
Can't wait
people.
for that one.
But before that, I have very explicit instructions from my 7-year-old daughter, Nadia. I must stop by the Hello Kitty Cafe and bring her back merchandise. So yes.
She uses the word merchant.
No, she goes, Dad, I want stuff. Hello Kitty stuff. So
the day she starts saying merch, we're in trouble.
When she says merch, we're in trouble. We're absolutely in
trouble.
So,
too much into this.
So I will go up to the Aria where we're having dinner. I'll check my luggage with the concierge so I can leave right after dinner, and then I will walk over to the Park MGM, go to the Hello Kitty Cafe, buy lots of stuff, and then go enjoy dinner.
You missed one other important thing we have to do right before you go to the Hello Kitty Cafe, or after you go to the before.
Oh, we're gonna go
with the Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny is holding court at the Crystal Palace shops, and you and I are going to go take a picture with the Easter Bunny because that's what the CPG Guys do.
Awesome.
All right.
So make sure you're subscribing to our podcast, folks, on your preferred listening platform where you can get our latest episodes. Go back and consume some of the 580 plus episodes we've already published. Let me jump to our guest today because this is going to be a fun firecracker one.
Sri, we talk about our guest and his brand in particular. Numerous times.
Look what's in the room. What are we drinking?
We're drinking the best beverage there is on the market.
My house is stacked up a bar.
You've got a lot.
Liquid that, this flavor, that flavor. So I gave away a guest name. So
it's the kind of beverage where you want the actual product on the table when you drink it. It's
Absolutely.
Not like you pour it into another receptacle and then you can no.
And we're going to talk about all this. How the heck has he built a cultish brand like
out of a commodity product?
Out of a commodity water product. We're going to get to that. But today we're going to dive into the intersection of creativity. And of course we have to touch retail media because Benoit and I started talking about it on LinkedIn. It's public now. So we got to close the dialogue. So who do we have? Benoit Vatere, CMO, Chief Media Officer of none other than our favorite beverage, Liquid Death.
Thank you, guys. That's a lot of love.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We are in awe of what you have done. We are so excited to talk to you about how you and your colleagues have built this brand. Building brands is not an easy task in this day and age.
So while the industry knows the brand for its viral, don't blink creative, who Mr. Benoit himself actually gets going in the industry. He's built a sophisticated media engine that is winning across the digital and physical shelf at a time when everyone's talking about the death of traditional search. Benoit is leading a brand that thrives on discovery, community, breaking the silos between brand awareness and conversion. We're going to talk about the Liquid Death X Factor and what the future of agentic commerce looks like for a brand built on human impulse. In the digital liner notes of this episode, of course, we'll include links to his profile, the company's website, for our listeners to access while on the go. So I'm going to get it started. And obviously, the first question, I'm going straight to a quote of yours, Benoit. You famously said Liquid Death is an entertainment company that happens also to sell water by accident. Maybe you didn't say accident.
I didn't say accident, but yeah.
So how do you maintain that kind of, no pun intended, unfiltered creative edge while managing the rigid P&L, distribution requirements, all the stuff of a CPG?
That's a very good question. And yeah, we are an entertainment company, and I think, and we monetize through water. That's the quote. And why we do that is because entertainment is the top of the funnel. This is what gets the attention. In a very, very busy, feed-driven consumptions, there's a lot of noise. You need to stand out. And in order to stand out, you need to pick a lane. And we pick the entertainment comedy lane, and we stick with it. And that works well because that's what gets the attention. And from the attention, you can build the brand. You can build the awareness. Now, you cannot just stay at the awareness level, but we've been really good because we've been working with that lane. We've been working with what we call like the unexpected. Mm-hmm. If you're expecting us to do it, that's the reason why we should not do it. So we work with unexpected.
What a great comment. So if you're expecting a brand to do it, you should not do it.
Correct.
Meanwhile,
that's our lane.
Every other brand wants to do exactly what the consumer expects them to do off a playbook.
Correct.
A very 150.
Because that gets them the moderate results that they expect to get.
It's
highly risk
averse.
averse.
It's safe. And it's, to be fair, I think very annoying to the consumer. The consumer sees the same thing.
We would agree on the CPG guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing again and again.
Again and again. And
so I have to ask you then.
Yeah.
54 ads on Super Bowl. How are they? What do you think? Safe, or you actually liked some?
I like some, and I won't tell you which one. I like ours a lot.
You obviously like State Farm because Cat's Eye was in it.
That's the one. That one.
You will own up to liking that.
That's true.
One.
That one I can call it out, and
because it was Jake.
Yeah, exactly.
From State Farm.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of very safe, and it was also a lot of let me buy 60-second. So I can get a lot of eyeballs, and let's get attention by staying on the screen for a long period of time and burn cash.
Metric.
Exactly, and I think that's what the play was this year. Is I don't think I've ever seen that many 60-second at the Super Bowl.
A lot of them,
and that's I think that was the play there. Obviously, you need to afford that, and it's a different ball game. But I don't think that was interesting. That I watched it, nothing really caught my attention.
It was interesting how those 60-second ads.
No, State Farm did.
Yes, did. But not State Farm. Your daughter did.
Oh, thank you.
But what I noticed was they were 60-second ads on the Super Bowl, but when they replayed after the Super Bowl, they were all cut down to 30 seconds. So they took out so much of the content. Right. Well, they're just so used to, we are only going to get 30 seconds of attention span. But I want to follow up.
Hold on. Before you go there, you have a follow-up on the question?
I do.
Go for it.
And it's this, is that you talked a lot about the entertainment aspect because it gets attention, but it does more than that, right? You have built such a loyalty, so much so that your consumers will actually ink your logo on their bodies. What is it that creates that sense of community, that sense of loyalty? What did you tap into?
Watch his hand.
I know. That's what I'm asking.
Where is the Liquid Death logo?
Not yet. Here. I mean, you cannot see it.
Okay. What is this here? Tell us about the story. What is this?
What is this? It's actually so first I love art. This is Japanese tattoo. And those are the 4 elements. So you have the wing here. The wing started because also of the wing, the American flag with the eagle, because I'm an immigrant and I'm very grateful for this country. And then it goes into all the other elements that I have.
Do you know that all 3 of us are immigrants?
I didn't. I mean, I assume, but I didn't know about you.
Canadian.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. We don't have an American born here.
No, I have my family. I've got the Om sign. I've got my pets, all 4 of them, and then Habibi.
Nice.
But I won't solve the mystery why I have Habibi.
Should I show my tramp stamp?
We want to see your tramp.
Okay, no, we're not doing that.
We don't have to put it on the video.
Yes.
But Benoit, let's get back to the question.
What was the question?
Yeah. The question was about you've not only drawn attention with your brand, you've built fanatic loyalty. What is it that you tapped into really cultivate that?
It's because it's a statement. It's when you
your brand is more than a brand.
It's more than a brand. It's a statement. It's cool. It's like I'm drinking here, but it's not a beer. It's a water. People recognize that it is something that you can remember. It's the same thing as what it is in mental availability in media. It's something that people's oh, wow, that's cool. That's not something I've seen before.
So I have a lot of friends who are high-end chefs in major cities. And I remember about 20, 25 years ago, Coca-Cola reintroduced their little 8-ounce glass bottles. And for the first time I saw in what I would call the 2-star, 3-star Michelin restaurant, instead of it coming out in a glass, they had no problem putting that iconic glass bottle. And when I think about what you've done with Liquid Death, you are the next brand that I have seen to come along that actually people want to put that on the table. There is, to your point, a statement that's being made about the consumer that's consuming it.
And to be honest, on the table, it triggers discussions. What is it? Like, and the same thing. I mean, we're pretty. A lot of people know we have been at all the different festivals and concert venues, and with our partnership with Lamination. And because of that, a lot of people have seen us in those environments that are actually making memories. And you see that can, it's like, what is that can?
Yeah.
And people's like, it's not a beer, it's water.
I know. When I first thought, I'm like, it has to be a beer. It has to be a hard seltzer. It has to be something else. Like, no, it's water.
It's water. And again, that creates even more discussions.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, talking about unexpected, you don't expect to have water in that can.
And I think I'll give you an example why that's important to me. So I don't drink alcohol. I haven't had anything in 5 years. You know what I love to drink when I'm out with friends drinking? Liquid Death.
He wants to look cool inside.
I'm trying.
He does.
I am trying desperately to look cool.
Liquid Death.
He is because drinking Liquid Death. Close to cool as I'm going to get.
But that's true. That's what happens. And then there's also another thing that happens a lot with the moms that want to give healthy beverage to their kids, but the kids love holding a can of Liquid Death. Cool. And so now they drink. The mom feels good because it's a healthy beverage. The kid feels cool because it's a cool brand. Everybody wins.
Satisfied. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
Now, I think you wanted to ask something on AI.
No. Oh, well, in terms of AI, AI is the big word around everything. Everybody's got to be in it. But I have to imagine that how you're thinking about it, particularly in terms of a tool for engaging your audience, is probably very much top of mind. So how are you thinking about employing AI in the customer journey for Liquid Death?
That's a very difficult question to answer because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I want to do.
Okay.
But it hasn't been at the top of the list.
Okay.
Because we are a fast growing brand with a lot of priorities. The priorities right now are to move the product off the shelf. And the AI evolves so fast.
Is distribution still the biggest opportunity for you?
Getting more doors. But we already have now a lot of doors.
Yes.
So now it's how do we get more space on the shelf?
More SKUs.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's how we increase that velocity by actually, we're probably going to get into media, but we have a massive awareness. So now do we get into consideration and conversion? So the velocity increase off the shelf. So that's where it's at for us. But going back to your AI question, for us, we have a very unique voice, right? When we talk to the consumer, the shopper, the drinker. So trying to trust AI, we're not there yet from a communication standpoint. Actually, on the show here, I was talking to some companies that are trying to sell us about managing our DMs through AI. We are not yet trusting enough to have AI handle the communication.
Are you finding that your brand resonates so much with consumers that when we move to this concern around agentic commerce, that people are asking for Liquid Death specifically, much like people say, I want some Kleenex, I don't want tissue paper.
So that's for us, that's a different question is how do we show up in the results?
Yes.
Which is the new search.
Yeah.
Right? Now people are not going on, or some still do going on Google and searching. Most people are interacting with agents to ask, and like, hey, I just started that diet. I need to have a better beverage for me. What do you recommend? Right.
But I'm thinking of things like I'm throwing a New Year's Eve party. Get me all the products I need.
Exactly.
Liquid Death should be part of that. How do you make sure that you're part of that equation?
Part of that equation. And so that part of the equation, but is the part of the equation because the LLM, the agent knows us, or is that because of part of the equation because they know the retailer and they find those different SKUs at the retailer level?
So it's feeding off how the retailers classify it.
And we need to do both. And I was having a discussion yesterday around that. It's like we need to feed all those agents directly with our catalog of products.
Yeah.
And then, so that means that the agent looks at that first and then can recommend places to buy from, rather than getting all this insight from the retailer itself, which is great. Like, again, we need the retailer, but I want to have the retailer being picked by the consumer, not picked by the agent.
You want the agent to understand liquid death through you before it goes to find liquid death.
Exactly. Like, get the story first and then give options of retailer, and best retailer wins.
Okay.
So I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
April 5th is my older daughter's birthday. There'll be a big party at home. It'll be all musicians, the industry, right?
Give me the address.
So should liquid death be the only water? No Aquafina, no...
You got everything.
What is Aquafina?
No, I've never heard of it. Excellent answer. So I'm hearing liquid death is the brand.
It should be.
It should be.
Now, I
How
also...
about for mixers?
That too. We mix really well with our flavor sparkling water.
That's what I meant.
A lot. Yeah. So that too. Oh, yeah. But for me, actually, you're bringing a good point. I don't think, and that may trigger a lot of questions or discussions here. I don't think people are loyal in the CPG world, consumers.
No. We in today's day and age, after COVID and pricing of 30% that CPG took, loyalty's gone out the window.
That means, though, but I think they're buying they're buying in a repertoire of brands. So they're bouncing between 3 or 4 brands.
They will accept.
That is true.
They will accept. So
whoever's got better pricing in a given week.
Better pricing or
promo,
top of mind because of something that happened. Display in the store. Or if we go to retail, e-retail, are you in front of them at the time of, at the time of conversion? So that means that for me, do I care if at the party there is another brand? Not really, because
But you care if the consumption is liquid death.
Correct. And I care who holds the can on the picture.
Repeatedly can't spot it.
So clearly establishing that loyal connection to the consumer, that statement that they're making is important. So then how do you think about taking that brand and expanding it outside of the core category that you started with, water, and start, for instance, you've recently moved into energy drinks. Yeah. How do you start thinking about that is the right category where our brand can resonate very easily? What are the conditions that you start to consider?
Well, for us, the platform is healthy beverage.
Okay.
So that's what we're going after, is to turn a category that is not healthy or doesn't have healthy
beverages,
options.
Generally.
Beverages.
Yeah.
Okay. We're sticking with beverage.
Okay.
I'm not saying in 10 years, maybe right now, this is a lot to do with beverage. Now we started with water, with the mineral water.
140 calorie beverages with like 26 grams of sugar.
No, never, ever. Right? It's always...
That's antithetical to your mission.
No, we will never touch something that is not healthy. Right? And so when we go from water, what is the next category? Obviously, soda is a big category. Well, how can we make a soda healthy? Well, flavor sparkling water with the right ingredients. Now, there's a lot of flavor sparkling water out there, but the flavor is not there. It's very light. And
that Peter and she agreed. That's right, liquid death.
And so for us, that's why we went with big flavor, but still remain healthy. So now you feel better about drinking it than drinking the soda, but you still get the same flavor profile. Now, tea is the same thing. Tea is like, if you look at all the tea on the shelf, they have an amount of sugar that is just insane.
It's astronomically high.
It's crazy. It's like, it should not be allowed.
40 grams of sugar.
Exactly.
Serving, yes.
So for us, that was a good next one.
Okay.
Now, energy is also the next obvious one because of the brand. And like, what is crazy is that before we were even in the energy category, a large portion of our audience thought we were an energy brand.
They assumed
we assumed we were an energy brand.
I was one of those.
Exactly. So for us, it made so much sense to go into energy for that reason, but also energy was moving into a better for you energy, an easy to drink. Like we're not talking about the better for you, but easy to drink. Like it's not like a 300 milligram of caffeine that you jump off the wall after you drink it. How can you drink it that it picks you up, but it's healthy? Right? So that's how we went into energy. And obviously after that, from an economical standpoint, like it's a huge category. Like it's massive. It is growing fast.
So I'm going to jump now into what I call the anti-marketing playbook.
Let's go.
You know, we talked about how most CMOs are playing it safe.
Yeah.
Right? It's basically risk aversion.
Yeah.
Another pet peeve here on the CPG Guys is most CMOs of large brands, they do not understand social conversations. They do not understand social commerce.
Forget about them even Forget of them even posting on.
They don't have accounts.
They don't even have accounts on their phone.
So they're not going into TikTok. They're not going into Instagram.
They're not native at all.
No.
And even when we have conversations with them, they'll say, "My daughter told me blah 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 is the trend."
That's not great.
Is that a problem?
That's a big problem.
So talk to us about that.
Is that malfeasance as a CMO?
Should they even have that job as a CMO if you don't have a TikTok account in today's economy?
You cannot. Yeah, you should not. You should not.
That's our opinion.
100%.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have your personal account. You can create an account and consume
Make it.
content.
Don't have to post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just have
but
to
see
watch.
what's happening in
Yes.
terms of trend, in
Yes.
terms of content it's consumed, about how you
Yeah.
can share the content, our comments are working, our interactions are happening. So yes, but for us, we were born in social, right? That the first thing that existed for Liquidate was this Facebook page that Mike Cesario built, right? To test the concept, and he got a lot of momentum and videos were going viral. So for us, we are native social. And that's how we were able to build virality. We probably have been the best at creating content that goes viral and gets attention.
So if I were to ask you, think of all the marketing quote unquote rules that have existed.
Yeah.
What is one in 2026 that you think of and you throw up?
As a
Like-
rule,
Yeah. We think this whole notion of not being on social is a problem.
for me, the rule that has to freaking go fast is that you need to throw as many creative as you can on a meta platform to try to win.
So say more.
Like
So that's Instagram.
It's Instagram, the idea that in order to win, you need to create 1,000 creatives a week to get people to click and consume. The idea that you can have a full funnel in one ad on social is
And be
the
content
worst
with it.
idea ever.
So flood the creative. Flood content.
100%.
And that creative, you neither have the capacity nor necessarily all the visibility to conceive of that on your own. You need creators to help you in that process.
Exactly. Let the creators, let the humans create that. But that's where we need to back up a little bit. A lot of people think in social they can do awareness, consideration, conversions all in one.
It's just a straight.
It's not that. For me, we have our organic that plays the upper funnel in the virality. But then I leverage the creators and our own static, consistent assets at consideration. And then I leverage retargeting campaigns for conversions, picking up the signals from
Okay.
the retailer. So
Okay.
you can do a lot, but not on a single ad.
No, there's
Hoping
no
to do
one
it all.
silver bullet to get the
There's
whole
not.
thing done,
And-
from exposure and awareness all the way to conversion.
And Meta wants to make you to believe that.
Yes.
And that's not true, right?
Yeah.
That's not true.
So they're
Zuckerberg is
trying
flat
to
out
sell
wrong on this.
brands. Anyone who's trying to sell you on full conversion from
one click.
discovery in one click, they're selling you a bill of goods. It's not happening.
It's not happening. And this idea is like the funnel doesn't exist anymore. The funnel is compressed. That it's the stupidest thing ever.
We get annoyed when someone says the funnel is dead.
Exactly. This is just wrong. It may have changed. It may be shorter. It may be longer. It may be not linear.
New little pieces to it, but it's still the funnel.
But you still need to get to understand the brand. You still need to understand the benefits of the brand, and you still need to try the brand.
So that tells me that measuring multi-touch attribution is very important.
Very important. And I don't call that multi-touch attribution because there's so much noise around that. People's like,
Okay.
that doesn't exist. I'm calling that path to purchase.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think path to purchase can be figured out through attribution, through touch points. But yes, you're right though. That's how you need to understand
Okay.
what it is. And there's not a single one. And there are some that are working really well, but not scalable.
Before I give him our favorite question of the day, which comes in from a LinkedIn banter, which
Yeah.
will be on retail media, I do have a follow-up on the social piece.
Yeah.
That is, how important are creators in that social piece?
Very.
Say
For
more.
me, they are the consideration point. They could be the awareness point. We don't play that game because we have our creative engine that does the awareness. For me, they are the best because people know the brand, they know our brand, but now they see someone in a very unique setup that they can relate to trying the product. At this point, they are like, okay, I should probably try it out.
Are you using more local creators, smaller scale?
Yeah,
or are you using
smaller.
big budget ones?
Small.
Local, influential in a community.
Correct. Or even good content creation. Because then I can use media engine to amplify the
Amplify
content.
what resonates.
Exactly.
All right, so I want to dig into retail media because that's a big part of what we talk about
Really?
here.
On the CPG guys? We talk retail?
Apparently,
My favorite topic.
most consumer
Yours
brands.
and
I
us.
would argue that most consumer brands, particularly in beverage, are more focused on the components of retail media that are mid to lower funnel, owned and operated search. Right, they're trying to drive those conversions.
Yeah.
How do you think of retail media, and what intrigues you about it from the full funnel aspect?
Correct. I'm a huge fan of retail media. Let's put it out there. And here's why. First, search, of course. This is the conversion, the most lower point of the funnel. But there's so much more to retail media. And here is why. It's going to take me a little bit.
Go.
First, the audience. They have the best audience. The first-party retail data, they know that shopper bought in that category that many times.
So it's all the signals and the measurement.
They've either bought yesterday, buying today, or buying tomorrow.
Exactly. So for me, you give me that signal, now I can be efficient with my dollars.
Would you advocate, therefore, for a larger portion of the media mix to be on retail media?
Yes.
Okay. You're the first person to come on the CPG Guys and say that.
Well, and then I can explain.
Out of 580 episodes of what, Peter, 150 are retail media?
Yeah.
And here is why. Because also, as you probably, when you talk to a retailer, the volume of digital sales happening at retail is growing very, really fast. So the conversion happens on digital. On digital, guess what? You don't have end cap. You don't have shelves.
Yeah.
You need to create your end caps. You need to create your shelves. How do you do that? Guess what? Retail media. Retail media is...
End cap every day.
Exactly. And you put your end cap with retail media, you put your end cap in front of the right shopper when he's ready to convert. There's nothing better.
When they come with intent.
Exactly. And you put an end cap in front of them.
So let's ask you a numerical question. I'm not asking you what liquid debt does, but what would you advise other companies in terms of the marketing mix? What percent beverage category should be on retail media? What percent of their marketing mix? 30, 40, 50?
Range,
higher,
whatever you feel comfortable with.
I mean, it would depend also the size of the brand, but I see on the emerging brands, I'm not talking about the Coke and Pepsi of the world because I don't know that space well, but on the fast growing, a good half, if not more.
Half
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And to follow up on that.
This is music to Ryan Mayward's ears right now.
It really is. There are so many places you can invest against retail media. When we talk to brands, in terms of their ability to manage that, they end up saying, I'm going to go where the scale is, and I'm going to go where the measurement is. Is that, what else do you consider when you think about investing against retail media?
Well, yeah, the scale, but also we need to be clear. When we talk retail media, it's not just the .com, it's the audience offsite.
Okay.
That's retail
so
media.
It's offsite.
So that would include CTV, MSNBC.
And big, and
all the offsite.
Where you bring the retailer audience there, right? You're targeting people that are shopping at Target on the big screen. And now you follow that shopper when they show up at Target, the same audience, you get in front of them with your digital end cap.
So then do you have a clean room strategy?
Yes, I do. Big.
Okay. How long have you been developing that?
A year.
That's good because we still talk to a lot of brands today that are
1% of brands actually have a clean room.
They're not there.
For me.
Or they don't understand clean room. They have it, but
they're like Sri. They think it's where you keep your Windex and your.
Yeah, they keep the Windex and all
the floor polish.
I mean, for me, it's critical because
don't forget the broom.
The broom too. But the movement of audience is critical. You cannot win if you cannot move your audience around from one place to another. So if you don't have a clean room, and a clean room could be a scary word. There are a lot of platforms out there that always use.
It's a beautiful word. How can it be scary? Because you've bleached it.
Exactly. It's clean.
I think
but people's like, oh, it's tech. You know, it's tech. I'm worried.
Yes.
Right.
That's usually the CIO getting in the. Sorry, no offense, but IT people getting in the way.
And then putting my background, I have a tech background, so that helps me to jump into that very quickly.
Unfair.
Yeah.
Very
so
unfair.
that may be a little bit unfair, but that's why I love this because I think it's critical to success.
So back on RMNs though.
Yeah.
We are in a messy world of 200 plus RMNs today.
Yes.
So you scale Amazon, maybe Instacart and Walmart. No one else really has
Maybe
scaled.
Kroger.
Maybe.
Target. Look at Jenny now.
Roundel.
Jenny's there.
Jenny Holleran is
Jenny's
Our
gonna
good
change
friend
again.
is Jenny Holleran.
She's going to change the
Gets a call
game.
out on the CPG Guys yet again, 28th time.
I mean, for good reason. She did big things at Kroger. She's about to do and already did.
She has
big
the
things
best.
at
That's
she
why
has
Roundel's
the
not
best shoe collection in the industry.
Here you go.
Don't give away that plot.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's
Don't
here
give
you go.
She'll own that. She will totally own that label.
Oh, she will for sure. But
We actually met Jenny here. Of course, we know Jenny for a long time. Her first day on the job at Roundel.
At CES.
at CES,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, but to your question, that's why Roundel is going to get big because also Roundel has such a core audience, especially for us with the moms. The moms shop at Target.
Moms for kids.
Exactly.
That's why Liquid Death plays very well to the target audience because
Very well.
of who the core
Solve the
consumer
mystery.
is.
Very, very well. So
they go there for statement brands, but they also want healthy products for their families.
But Benoit, my question was you're still talking about scale. So all you did was you added Roundel to the other three, Amazon,
Correct.
Instacart, and Walmart. What about like 80 USA Media? Because Bobby's about to come in next.
Wegmans, Meijer, all those others.
Yeah.
No, I'm not touching
Albertsons
it.
Media Collective.
I talked to Albertson quite a bit,
what would
and I
you
spent time
need?
there, but yeah.
What would you need to be able to touch those? Is it about Is it about them creating an alliance and a consolidation, a single point of entry? What is
So
it that they're
it's
missing?
basic features that are needed to execute
Measurement?
spend.
All right. So
Measurement is one
it's-
for sure,
it's
but
less about their scale and it's more about the capability.
correct. For me, it's all capabilities.
Okay. So it's about the products that can touch the full funnel.
Correct. It's the ability to create a funnel. You touch it. It's the ability to create. Can you create a funnel or not?
I'm
So
surprised you haven't asked him about measurement.
No, well, let's talk about measurement. So too often there are RMNs that are going to present you with the black box. Don't worry. Here's what your incrementality number is. How much are you asking them? I need you to open up the hood so I can look at your engine.
I don't ask. I get the data. I'm getting the scan sales
Okay,
data.
so you're getting that.
I'm getting the scan sales data.
Yeah.
I'm getting the media
You're
dollars.
figuring it out yourself.
Okay.
And so exactly, I'm doing my own. Now, if the retail media network tells me this is what I read, I was like, okay, give it to me. Now I'm going to also look at it myself. Is that matching? Great.
Trust.
Often doesn't
Verify.
match.
A lot.
That's good to hear.
A lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need to look at the retailers as our partners.
Yeah.
They're not here because if they win, we win. If we win, they win. So I don't think there's anybody malicious there. So yes, of course, everybody wants to try to show that what they do is
Well,
right.
listen, on the CPG guys, the whole industry knows we're big fans of retail media. We've been the champions for since we started the show.
And that's
the
great.
industry knows that. Many retail media networks will acknowledge we were part of that journey of growth from day one, like Walmart Connect. We've been advocates for why this must happen because of the lower funnel piece.
Yeah.
And also because of the declining value that linear television presents outside of the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
The rest of the year, the question becomes, I can't measure it. People are cutting the cord. I mean, the fact that Walmart's it's in store, but people are still shopping in store, right? You just need to reach them, and retail media networks allow you to do what print media and linear television no longer lets you do.
And the people that says I cannot measure, like, again, you don't do social or you say that I cannot measure, you should not have the job. Like, you can measure. That's
95% of CMOs today.
But it's ridiculous. In order to measure, you need to have the sales data, which is available. You may have to pay for it, but it's available. You need to have your media dollars at a very granular level, which is available. And
you should know yourself.
You should know yourself.
Your media.
It needs to be in a data lake, which is not rocket science to build. And then you need to have a model, which most of the incrementality model are all open source, right? So you can start simple and have very strong signal on what works or what doesn't work.
Who builds your model for you? Incrementality model. You're building it yourself?
Yeah.
And
so the one follow-up I have for you, which is, does marketing mix modeling play a role in the work you do? And if it does, MMMs historically undervalue retail media. How do you address all of that?
So I address that by first, I'm not doing full MMM. I do what I call agile MMM.
Okay.
Meaning I run it fast every month.
So you're doing
So you update the model every month.
You're
every
not
month.
waiting 6 months to
No, every month. So that's why I call them agile. And I know that agile means not perfect. I don't need perfect.
You don't
I
need R square of
signal.
1.0. You need R square of 0.85.
Correct.
Because
Even
it's a
even
signal
less
for
than
it
that,
to
it was
suggest.
a signal
Yeah.
for me.
It's not a Wall Street report.
Exactly. It's a signal for me. Is it going in the right direction or not?
Brilliant.
And when you do it that way, guess what? Retail media is needed. But retail media is needed with a full path to purchase. So if you look just at retail media on its own, it's not necessarily great. But if you look at CTV on its own, it's terrible. Now you put them together, it's fucking amazing.
Yes.
We couldn't agree more.
That is absolutely true. So before we got started, we made mention of the fact that you've done you did a absolutely outstanding partnership with Elf Beauty.
Yeah.
How do you think about partnering the brand that you've created with another brand that they complement each other and they accelerate each other?
Yeah. So it goes back to the first thing that we said. It has to be unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Exactly. Nobody would have expected liquid death with health.
No.
And it happened. And just that created a lot of noise and a lot of momentum. Why do we think also about health? First, we have to get along well with the brand, which the health marketing team is awesome.
They are tremendous.
But after that also is that how much overlap and non-overlap there is in terms of audience.
Okay,
right?
So that's
Peter,
where
who did
data
we
is
have
important.
from Elf Beauty last year?
Well, we had a couple people.
Was it the CMO?
No, it was Chief Growth Officer. I'll have to correct that on the rebound. But yes, we met with their Chief Growth Officer at Cannes. We also had previously had Ekta Chopra, their Chief Digital Officer, on our podcast. Yeah. But that is a very interesting brand, and I agree with you. It was not expected. But when you say we need to see about the audiences and can we grow it, that's where data becomes a very important aspect of understanding who their consumers are, who yours are. Should they naturally appreciate each other's brands, and will that expand the brand?
And it does, right? When you think about who's buying health, it's actually the mom for the kids a lot, right? There's a lot of...
And they have their own viral...
And they are super viral. And also the thing is a lot of people want to have what we call the liquid death treatment, meaning they want to partner with liquid death because they want to have a viral, but not everybody is ready for it though. Because we are definitely pushing.
So are you going to have a liquid death regimen like they have in beauty? morning beverage, afternoon beverage, night beverage.
Maybe.
To calm down.
That's right.
so
Lori Lamb.
That's the one
that we met with.
So I got a trick question coming up for you. So the way retail media started, it was started by customer sales teams, Walmart team, Kroger team, yada, 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 Amazon team, etc. We've said for a long time, retail media is media. It needs to be taken into consideration of the full marketing mix. It needs to sit under the CMO's budget. Where does it sit in liquid death? What is your advocacy for the industry?
It has to be sitting under the CMO for sure.
And so that means all the execution should also be under the CMO as a media vehicle.
100%. This is a media buy. This is not sitting on the sell side. This is sitting on the media side.
If you across the table though, that's not what the RMNs are used to. They're used to a customer team and a shopper marketing team. So do you have a shopper marketing team, or are you just operating as...
We do have a shopper marketing team that works into the sales team, the customer team, but they are mostly taking care of in-store.
So all the displays, all the cardboard cutouts, all that
touching
stuff.
Retail media.
Correct. All of that stuff.
Correct. Not touching retail media at all.
Does that mean your performance optimization, since it's within the media team?
It is performance.
Real time?
It is. And we treat it that way.
Talk to us about real-time retail media. Are you able to course correct midway through if you want to?
All the time. That's why I'm pushing also all the retail media networks to push self-service, because I want to be able
to do it yourself.
We are trying to do everything ourselves in terms of optimization. We look at it as performance. We have dashboards that are refreshing on a daily basis.
How do you build that skill set within your marketing team?
It's performance media buyers.
Okay.
That's what it is. That's my DNA.
Word to use, right? So you're treating retail media like you'd treat a Meta. Performance media.
Yes and no. For the Google. For the bottom of the funnel, yes. But when I start thinking audience and upper funnel, I treat them as an audience play.
You get a better quality audience actually because of it.
Much better audience. Yeah. And so now you need to look at the search is very much performance. The display is very much engagement, because you need to be people to click on display to get to the PDP. And then from an upper funnel is how do I take that audience that is just so good, put it offsite. So from the offsite, I can get awareness against the right audience and bring it on site.
Absolutely. 100%.
We're on alignment.
CPG, you're talking CPG Guys language, man. So we're going to be in alignment.
So let's talk about breaking down the silos of traditional CPG brands. How do you interact most with your counterparts on the customer side, the sales organization? And then retail media is very dependent upon, if the retailer doesn't have the product in stock and you've just invested in retail media, that's a wasted dollar. How do you deal with your supply chain logistics, your sales organization, to make sure your investments are done in harmony and ultimately leads to the outcome you want, which is a sale of your product?
Communication and data.
Okay.
So first, communication is talking to the sales team, to the key, leaders on the customer side on what are the priorities. I cannot support every single thing at every single retailer. So what is going to move the needle?
But I'm sure you're asked to.
Of course. But now for us, it's,
including the $5,000 check for the Heart Association Foundation.
That one included.
Or golf tournament.
Correct.
My favorite pet food. Off corner.
That's right.
Not the rubber chicken dinner at the
Rubber chicken dinner. Yeah. You know what the rubber chicken dinner is?
What is
You
it?
should explain it to you. Go
So
That's our favorite
retailer
word.
would invite you. They're saying we're having a charity event. We expect you to buy a table of 10 people, and the waiter comes
$50,000.
and he puts down the piece of chicken that basically, when you cut into it, tastes like rubber. That's the rubber chicken. That's
That's
We
it.
call it the rubber.
Okay, so that one too.
No offense to, because I've worked with merchants all my
Yeah.
life because I come from the sales side of
Yeah.
some of the largest brands,
Yeah.
right? But I got to admit, we wrote a lot of checks for
a
this
lot
rubber
of
chicken
checks,
dinner.
Yeah.
and that was a
We
cost.
did.
That was a cost of doing business.
That's when we convinced ourselves.
No, right. That was
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense.
Have you noticed in the era of retail media that the dynamic of the relationship between the brand and the retailer is moving away from the retailer holding all the cards because they held distribution and they wrote the checks, to now their publishers trying to sell to you and they're trying to fill out their marketplace? Do you feel like you're moving away from what we call joint business planning to actually value creation for both the brand and the retailer?
For me,
Where
it's-
are we?
I never played the JB piece. For me, I've always been a way to, if we hit that numbers, we get added value, but it never been critical to what we do. What we do is creating value. And for like the last 3 years, at least with the retailers, it is moving into what can we build together? What can we do that works? And I'm pushing them to build things that I need, and they are receptive. They are listening. Because it makes sense, and they see that if it works for me, it will probably work for others. So the discussion that I have with all the names that you mentioned before are about how can we build that funnel? There's a breaking point in that funnel. How can we create the bridge? What is needed in terms of tech? Well, we have this discussion. Now I'm talking to the product team at all the retailers. I'm talking to all of them. It says, because the sales guy is like, oh, he's asking for something. Can you talk? And they'll bring those folks, and those shows are perfect for that. All those folks are coming in. We're talking about what is missing, and it happens. That's the thing that is, and I think because CMOs or folks are not thinking that way. They are not product people. They are not builders. I'm a startup guy. I built my entire life. I go to the retailers like, this is what I need. And by the way, this is how it can be built. You talk to the product guys like, oh yeah. Oh, I'll put that on the roadmap.
They're looking for that kind of inspiration.
They do.
Aren't they?
They do. And they
good
put
to
it
hear.
on the roadmap and they get it done.
The message I'm hearing from Benoit is, if you're a brand, there are different constituencies within the retailer. There's obviously the merchant, right? There's the retail media network. But from a product development standpoint, they are looking for inspiration. It is beholden on you as a partner to bring inspiration to them on what they should be doing from a product standpoint.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, maybe a lot of brands, like, oh, they will never listen to us, or they don't even think that it could bring things up. I do.
Yeah.
And they listen and they build.
Yeah, I think if you think about a relationship with the retailer as purely transactional, I'm selling them this product, here's my price.
Yeah.
Instead of, you're looking for this, but I'm looking for this. Now let's figure out how we all get all the things we want and get a better outcome across the board.
Because at the end, it creates velocities.
Velocity.
And when velocity is here, they are happy, we are happy, everything is great.
Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Great. Unicorns, one more. You got to buy a unicorn as well and take it back. to that.
I'll work on the unicorn strategy.
So CTV, I want to go back to CTV.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
My favorite topic.
So you're a loud brand.
Yeah.
You're part of a loud brand, Liquid Death. We also sense impulse, rebellion, all of it in Liquid Death. Hence the love for the can, as you mentioned, the brand and the imprint on the can itself. CTV, Walmart just acquired Vizio, clear play on CTV. So how are you thinking about a visually loud brand like Liquid Death in winning that journey from the living room sofa all the way to the kitchen fridge?
I love it, and here is why. I love the big screen because the big screen, for two reasons for us, it's so good because of the brand we are. First, there's a lot less noise on the big screen. When you're on a feed on social, it's 300 pieces of content that you scroll through, and it's 2 seconds. When you're on the big screen,
they're not scrolling the big screen.
They are not scrolling the big screen. They may skip, but at most you have 4 in a pod. On CTV, you may have 1 in a pod. You may just be alone. but also, so that's the first part. What I like, it is you have the attention and don't have 300 people around that are trying to talk to that same person. The second thing is most of the TV ads are boring.
Yes.
They
So
are boring. So when we pop, exactly, when we pop in the middle of this, oh my gosh, we get attention. So this is great for us. Like it is less noise, more attention, because also people around us are just boring.
Brilliant.
So this is, and while that third point, I can layer data on top of CTV. So I can bring the retailer data on the CTV journey.
So you can hyper target
Exactly.
by household.
Correct.
And that's fundamentally different than doing linear television advertising where it's just a one-way communication method.
That's why the only linear that I do is the Super Bowl.
That's
because
it.
the Super Bowl hits the entire nation.
It's a cultural moment.
You don't want to do the 9 p.m. news?
I may, if the right person is there, right? I may.
What are you saying about the Super Bowl is it is a single point where all of us largely have a common point of reference. That's
Correct.
why you're there.
And also the Super Bowl is the only show on TV that you're watching the ads. You go to watch the Super Bowl because you want to watch the ads.
We devote an entire episode
I know.
here to review.
We evaluated all 54 ads.
I know. I listened to the episode. I listened to one last year. You didn't like us as much this year. I know. That's all good. But the thing is, this is the one where people are in front of the TV and waiting for the ad break.
Yep.
There's no other thing like that on TV. So that's why we buy in the Super Bowl. But also,
it's amazing. They'll go to the bathroom during the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they come back to watch the TV, to the ads. Exactly.
How did you like the halftime show? Bad Bunny.
Okay. The real take on that. Coming into it, I was like, I don't think I like that guy, but I didn't know him. But for me, it was very much like more like a female artist. I didn't listen to this music, and I got into the show, and I was surprised how good it was.
Bad Bunny was theater. The whole show was.
It was great. It was pageantry in my opinion.
People didn't leave their sofa.
No, they watched the whole
and I think it was good, but I thought that get me to discover the guy and realize that actually I like his music. Now, that get me teased by my kids who are like, what, Dad?
Where you been,
listening to Bad Bunny?
How old are the kids?
18 and 16.
Well, yeah, 18 and 16, they are going to...
Two boys, they are not going to tell me that it's right to listen to Bad Bunny. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. I listen to Bad Bunny all the time. So I want to... D2C.
Yes.
Why do you not have D2C?
Try to ship beverage and make money.
It's all freight. Okay, it's the freight. We knew that's why it was.
I knew that'll be the answer you'll give me. That it's
just not economical.
Not fun.
But that being said, are there, thinking about TikTok Shop, are there reasons you would want to use that channel?
No. I'll tell you. So I'm going to give you a big answer. I love social commerce.
Yes.
But TikTok is not equipped to ship beverage. So I will lose.
You'd have to ship it yourself.
Exactly.
In quantity. So the question is, would you think about it, say, for launching try and create some buzz to launch a very unique flavor in a single serve can?
No, because I'm going to tell you why. Okay. TikTok is an amazing platform.
Yeah.
Because actually when you start measuring incrementality, it has a ton of incrementality on any retail.com. Right.
So you want to measure the performance it delivers.
So I measure and it works really well. And I invest a lot on TikTok content creation and media. Mm-hmm. Now what I do is all those TikTok creators don't thank the TikTok Shop because again, I will lose money. But I send those folks to all the retailers. I point straight into Target.com, straight into Amazon.com, straight into Walmart.com.
Brilliant.
So should Papa actually make content now that I have 165,000
Please
followers finally?
Yeah.
Nothing like the 8 million my kids have, but
actually it may be better. Tell your daughter, actually, you're more influenced because your content may be better and I will put media.
Okay, Ria and Laura, you heard it. This I'm influential.
That's right.
This part, I will cut the clip and show it to my kids.
Great.
All right. So I'm... You know what, Peter? I'm going to toss the next one over to you.
Well, we talked a little bit about obviously about AI, but your creative is very nuanced, right? Is that how much of that is, and where do you use AI to build out that nuanced creative? Is it the concept comes from human and AI helps scale it for the right marketplace? Like, where does it play a role?
It doesn't play a role pretty much at all on the creative side.
Okay.
We made fun of it in a creative that we never posted anywhere, but only played during the Olympics. So if you have the chance, you can look it up. Okay. It's always somewhere. We make fun of AI and and made people think that we created an eye with AI, and it was really weird and really good.
Okay.
So you should look it up. But that's the only place where we actually made fun and used AI for an ad on TV. And
it was 7 AI ads in Super Bowl, by the way. 7.
7? Okay, nice. But I use AI on the media buying side.
Okay.
A lot.
Of course, because that's
Optimization?
Reporting, optimization.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the sexy stuff, but it's the important stuff to get you to the measurement of the outcomes.
What about
the
building your mix?
That too.
So it's all the analytical components for
I basically build, you talk about the clean room. I also build a full-on data lake with, GCP, put all my data in there. And now I can plug a lot of instances. Like I play with Claude, plug Claude on top, build Claude apps on top, and start analyzing, start strategic planning on top, all of it.
I know he's been waiting to ask you about human capital, so go for it.
No, I mean, that's really the big thing. And we kind of touched on it earlier. Is like, how do you inspire and cultivate the human capital to then be able to do the creative stuff that you need?
Brand managers.
Yeah.
It's all humans in the brand management team. For us, we have actually comedians.
Say more.
Yeah. So the way Mike Cesario talks a lot, he has probably a lot of places where you can listen to him talking about it. Mike Cesario being our founder and CEO.
Yeah.
And in order to be in our lane about comedy, we need to have a marketer is not funny. Let's just be clear. Right. So we actually
CPG guys are funny.
That's true.
Could we?
We're funny.
Come in.
We're funny. Look.
Come in.
No, we have podcast faces.
That's right.
We have faces. We do. That's why I know we're funny.
You see, I'm laughing, guys. You're funny. But back to that is we're running the creative. We have a team that is called Death Machine, which is the creative team.
Machine.
I love that's the name.
That's Death Machine. It's all internal. We don't have agency for creative. So Death Machine is our internal agency.
Do you use an agency for anything?
Some like
Death Machine is the agency.
Correct. No, I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I do.
I think about the classic model of the global advertising holding company. I'm part of one.
Yeah.
And that doesn't fit into your overall strategy.
No.
Wow. That is phenomenal.
Yeah. And
truly counterculture.
Trying, but I think that's how we get efficiency and agility and move fast, and we're not afraid of a clean room.
Okay.
Not afraid of that?
No, not. As we think it's good. So yeah. Back to that, the creative is run as a SNL skit. It's a room with.
Do you practice that out?
Every Thursday morning we have it.
So every Thursday morning you have this mock skit.
Correct.
And if the skit works,
and it's ideas being thrown out there. It's all.
Don't give away the plot, man. People are listening to the show, and we have the whole industry listening.
It's been talked like a lot, actually. Mike has been talking a lot about this, but it's not easy to replicate. And also, you need to have more than just marketers.
People. Yeah, you have to have the right.
That's the right people.
But it gets everybody engaged. I have to imagine that has to be something that is very high energy.
Very high energy, and a lot of ideas that don't see. That don't see like the real world for 2 years. Like our Super Bowl ad last year, the drink on the job was an idea I think that came out of this Thursday morning session 2 years before.
And so when you're trying to hire somebody to be in brand management, what qualities are you looking for? What are you looking for? Other than a podcast face, what are you looking for?
Comic, funny, like comedian, true comedian. Because being funny.
How do you know somebody's funny?
That's the core of what you're brand.
That's difficult. And there are very few of them. And there are true comedians.
They're walking in, they're young, maybe it's their first job, second job, third job, maybe 7 years in, 5 years in, because no one stays beyond 2-3 years these days.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in front of the CMO of Liquid Death. They're pretty intimidated when they come in front of you. So how do they get their comic relief out?
I mean, that will go in front of the Death Machine. I wouldn't even talk to that person.
So it'll go to the Death Machine.
They'll go to the Death Machine to talk to
and they know what to do.
Correct.
That's what I assume.
Yeah.
That's
correct.
Good.
That's how they take care of it. Yeah. And that team is not recruiting ever, I think. Like we had this core team forever.
First time I've heard
That's awesome to hear. So I'm going to close it out for this episode.
Yeah.
Carefully say this episode.
Oh, he's coming back.
You're coming back.
No, he's coming
we need to have a full episode on retail media.
Let's do that.
So let's talk what happens a few years out, 2030 legacy.
Okay.
And it's not too far. We're talking 4 years. 2030 is nothing. Yeah. It's next
for us, it's a long time, but yeah.
If you are advising this brand management team today who wants to be Benoit, CMO by 2030, 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Should they spend more time in a data lab, knowing their numbers inside out, including media mix, everything we've discussed so far, or in the comedy club that you just said, the death machine?
In the data.
In the data.
100%. In
Why?
the data. Because that's how you're going to drive performance and success.
So the success of a brand largely lives within the data.
No, you need to have the brand. But the brand, for me, is a completely different set of people. And
It's a death machine.
it's a death machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you need to create a brand. It's very difficult to create a brand.
So do you let the death machine independently come up with the ideation outside of the data?
Oh yeah.
And then you feed the data.
My for upper funnel, I don't even give data, nothing. They just
So
go
you let them create it.
There's no input from data. There's strategy.
So the only way you use that data with that creative is to
It's for mid and lower funnel after that.
Middle and lower funnel.
Ah, brilliant.
We don't have time to get into the depth of that today.
We're going to talk more about this.
We'll
We'll talk more about this at the Residence in Cannes this summer. Sure.
Let's do that.
We're going to
On my way. I'll be there.
So why don't we have you on a panel speaking in front of an audience about this very topic?
I'd love
Let's do that. And let's take questions.
Because the CPG guys says, yeah, let's take questions.
That also tells me,
wait.
Sri, we're gonna have to have Liquid Death in copious stock at the Residence.
We should.
That's a given at this point.
That's a given.
Yeah. Are you already in distribution at France?
No, we're not.
How do we make that happen?
We'll ship over.
We're gonna have to bring big suitcases,
or even ship over.
Here's what we're gonna do, Benoit. We're gonna have you. This is what I'm envisioning, and tell me how this works, Peter. We should have you at a breakfast session.
Yeah.
And we should have you at a happy hour session.
Please.
2 different conversations. We'll talk about retail media in a breakfast session, and let's get into brand marketing in
brand building,
a happy hour session.
I'm all for it. I'm passionate about this. It's my job, but it's my passion, so I can talk about it morning.
You guys have a residence at Cannes this time.
That's right.
Content programming. These are important topics that need to be hit up in the industry. So let me wrap this up by reminding our listeners, you can find all of our content by simply going to a web browser, type cpgguys.com on the URL, that easy. If you know someone who has something to contribute on this ongoing discussion on the CPG Guys, send us an email at contact@cpgguys.com, or like Benoit did, talk to us on LinkedIn. What a great strategy. Yeah. To our audience, thank you for the clicks, likes, comments, DMs, meeting us at trade shows, coming to our events, recording episodes with us, and to our sponsors. Always grateful for you. The show doesn't exist without all of you. You work with us all year. Peter and I, from the bottom of our heart, are grateful for you that you've helped build such an ecosystem. Thank you. Peter, always fun doing this with you, especially from Las Vegas. Already a third visit, my third visit for the year already, and 5 more to go for the balance of this year.
Oh my God.
Give me that big takeaway today.
Yeah, I want to find out how I get tickets to the Thursday comedy session. I want to see how this brand is built, he's from the ground up.
Invite the CPG guys.
I know. You're a little bit closer to where it's happening than I am on the East Coast. True. But to me, it's
no, it's LA. It'll still take me 2 hours to get there.
Actually, it might take you longer to get there.
Maybe faster to fly to LAX.
For me, as much as it's about building a brand that creates a statement, the data is what's going to drive your decisions and how you invest, where you put your money on the roulette table and get the outcomes that you're looking for. Data is critically important. Understanding clean rooms, tracking social media, understanding how, while TikTok Shop may not be the right platform for commerce, TikTok itself and the creators will drive commerce in places where their product is selling. That connectivity of the data, following the data, so critically important.
Mine is going to be a very unpopular opinion for the industry, but he agrees with us. That's why I'm going to put it out there.
Go ahead.
It's the triple confirmation that retail media belongs in media.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
No debate.
Yeah.
We need to push for that even faster, heavier, better, more, so that it's integrated into the
market. There are a lot of brands out there that are still leaving it to their customer teams. That's got to stop.
So Benoit, thank you for joining us in Las Vegas here on the CPG Guys. You're always welcome back anytime.
Thanks
We're going to get you at Cannes. We're going to find a way to get you.
I will be there.
We need to get Liquid Death cans at Cannes.
There you go.
Do that.
On its way.
That's how to do that.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's a wrap of this episode of the CPG Guys.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.